Greetings. Greetings. It's Uncle V. And it's Friday. It is 12/31/21, the last day of an epic year. It is good to have you. It is this is going to be a quick live stream today. We're going to keep it to about a half an hour. And that's on me. That's on me. I have an appointment that I have to make. So I'm going to have to scoot out early, but we're going to have a great half hour. I have Max Freeman with me, yoga dude, as you can see, and Mike Mamola's on the line with us too. So we just want to wish you all a very, very special, safe New Year's Eve. And well, let's take a quick peek, not a year in review, but let's take a last quarter in review. Enrique isn't able to be here, but I just wanted to, as we do every week, I wanted to share with you, give you an update on Epic Cash versus the top 15 cryptocurrencies. It's been kind of a bumpy week this week, hasn't it? Well, when in doubt, zoom out. Let's zoom out, as most people probably know, so I'll just blow through it quickly. He went through an exercise that on 9/3, he did his own little snapshot of what the Epic price was, and then the top 15 cryptos. And if you bought $1,000 of each, what would it be worth today? Well, if you bought $1,000 of Epic on September 3rd, it would be valued at $12,031, or an unrealized net profit of $11,000. So we're up 1,103%, which is amazing, especially when you consider the top 15. Luna, 173%, you'd be up. So your $1,000 would be worth $2,731. Let's go to Bitcoin. Ooh, Bitcoin, you'd be down. You'd be down $27. And the average of the top 15, you would be down as well. You'd be down $27 versus being up in Epic, $11,031. So I don't know about you, but I think I'm pretty happy right now with where we are. And it has been definitely an epic year. And I cannot wait to see what 2021 is going to bring. Now, I have something very special for you. You're going to see it here live on the Uncle V channel. Compliments of Spencer and Richard. Do you know that 6-minute video, the 6-minute video that we've all fallen in love with? That was just part one. Today, I'm going to share with you part two. And there are going to be 3 videos total. The third one will be out probably maybe even next week at this time. But if you have not watched the first one, go down below into my show notes. And it's the one that says, watch this video first. Okay, well, I'm going to add this as watch this video second. Let me make sure my share sound is on. It is. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Spencer and Richard. Why did we create Epic?
Why did we create Epic? It wasn't for Moon or Lambo, although both are great. It was for Esther.
No sound?
Esther's a single mum in
I
Zimbabwe.
have sound. Oh, you do?
Wait, there's sound, right?
Yeah, I hear sound also.
All right,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Okay, I'm going to start it over so that we have it fresh. Okay, here we go.
Why did we create Epic? It wasn't for Moon or Lambo, although both are great. It was for Esther. Esther's a single mum in Zimbabwe, looking after 3 children on her own. Her husband died of pneumonia. She grows her own vegetables and sells them at the market, but like 40% of all Africans, she earns less than $2 a day. Sadly, she can't always trust her government to help her. Few of us can. In 2008, the financial system collapsed. And who suffered? Well, Esther did. All of us did and still do. Governments responded by printing money. It might have helped, but it also hurt because of inflation. In the US, A dollar you had in 2008 is today worth 78 cents. For Esther, it's been much worse. In 2008, the price of a loaf of bread for her and the kids was doubling every day. It's a bit better now. It's doubling every year. Esther doesn't need a Lambo. Esther needs a store of value, a currency she can trust. Do you know 80% of all the US dollars ever created were created in the last 2 years? Nearly $16 trillion. With Epic, there'll only ever be 21 million. Which means for Esther, she won't have to put up with runaway inflation. And the great news is now, for the first time in history, Esther can afford a smartphone. And that's a game changer. It means Epic, for Esther, can be a store of value and a medium of exchange. We can make Esther's life epically easier in all sorts of different ways. Now, like 1 billion others, Esther doesn't have a bank account. Even if she wanted to open one, it's a day's walk away and she might not be allowed. With the Easy Epic wallet, Esther will be able to store her Epic securely on her phone. With Bitcoin, she couldn't. The blockchain's just too big. With Easy Epic mining, she'll be able to set up a mining pool with others in her village and earn enough Epic to make a meaningful difference to her life. In fact, a significant proportion of Epic's mining capacity will be guaranteed for Esther and everyone else with a smartphone. With Bitcoin, mining's for the big boys, with deep pockets and big rigs and lots of electricity. All Esther will need is her smartphone and some solar power, and there's a lot of that where Esther lives. Esther will be able to send and receive Epic quickly and very, very cheaply. With Bitcoin, it's slow and very, very expensive. Soon, she'll be able to become her own bank and borrow interest-free from her own store of Epic, maybe to pay for her children's education, or to buy a goat and breed more goats, or build her own house, or open a shop. With Bitcoin, that's impossible. Like you and me, Esther has dreams. And here at Epic, we'd love to help those dreams come true. If you're interested in joining us, you're very welcome. Please get in touch.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Epic for Esther. I love that. Richard, Spencer, great, great. Okay, that's all you get from me today. I'm handing this over to my guests. Max, do you want to open us up? You have anything to share?
Cat got my tongue this morning. I'm all out of words. It's been a long year.
Cat got your tongue. Well, I know. Last night I went to. I fell asleep in my recliner and I woke up like at 1:30, and you know how you just kind of check your phone before you go to bed, and there you are. There you were in Telegram. So you and I had about a half-hour chat, and I'm like, does this dude ever sleep, or are you just a supercomputer? You tell me.
Lots of sleep. It's a priority. But yeah, no, I was joking about the cat got my tongue thing. Always happy to cover anything. For everybody in the chats on YouTube, if you want to throw questions through there on anything specific, we can cover it. I think what you wanted to cover is just the good news about recent developments with the snapshot underway, and you know where we are and improvements we've made based on recent feedback. So why don't you take the mic for a sec?
All right. So, yeah, great news is the snapshot happened. And now we are at the point in time to where the next step to be able to get your ECR, ECK, is for Todd and the tech team are working on creating it so that there is an easy button, so that everything works perfectly and that it just becomes simple. But that is prioritized because, as you all know, we all know that right now, we're working on V3 being kid tested, Todd approved, and that is getting closer and closer and closer. And I think, Max, maybe you let the cat out of the bag last week, or maybe not. Maybe it was in our chat. But anyway, you basically have the V3 on in an area, a test net area, to where you guys are just kicking the crap out of it, and it is standing tall and is just awesome. So it's going to be really, really close. And then so we have the Bitmart connection to get that launched. And then you have V3, which is where then the wallets can be stood up. You saw a little bit of the wallet, little sneak peek in Richard and Spencer's video. That it is just going to be absolutely so beautiful and cool. And then once all of that is complete, they'll go in and they'll do what the tech guys do to make sure that the snapshot then is actualized onto I don't know if it's the blockchain. Yoga would be able to better tell me, but the key is the easy button. And so it's not when or it's not if, it's when. And in Todd we trust as far as his priorities on what to focus on first. That's going to have the greatest the greatest leverage for us all. Is that a fair summary of that, Max?
Oh, that was a lot. Yoga, thoughts?
Yeah, I just realized I muted myself, so you guys missed a beautiful tirade. No, sorry. Yeah, I think that's more than a fair assessment. I mean, essentially, yeah, the snapshot went off without a hitch. I mean, that's the easy part, is doing the snapshot. The key thing, the challenge is to make the redemption process as easy and as mistake-free as possible. In other words, not mistake-free in terms of the code, but to make it so that our end users would not be able to even kind of, veer to the left or to the right of, the actual reclamation process. So, and that's kind of the challenge, because essentially what Snapshot is, and what the redemption process is going to be, is it's a separate server that's running, it's not running proof of work, so the difficulty is not climbing. It's a frozen moment in time, and people will be able to go in and enter a key piece of information to actually claim that this is who they are, and then the system will issue them a credit of ECR. It'll verify their Epic balance, and then it would guarantee that there's no shenanigans, that this is exactly what they had and this is how much ECR they're going to get. So it has to be done securely, but most importantly, it just has to be done in a user-friendly way. I mean, we don't want people to have to open ports and open install server and do all this other stuff, so we really kind of want it to be as close to a, look, you launch this thing and it'll ask you to enter in a something, okay, and then you hit return and boom, that's kind of it. So that's kind of the idea, is to try and minimize any, I was trying to figure out how to phrase it, but I guess try to minimize any points of confusion, any points of friction, any points of, misunderstandings, where people can kind of enter the wrong information, or they go like, oh my God, my stuff is lost. And by the way, stuff is not lost. This is the beautiful thing about blockchain. You make a mistake or you do this, it's like, it's all in there. It's still in there,
Yeah.
So that's kind of the really beautiful and magical thing about blockchain. So this is what the guys are working on. The V3 stuff, I mean, it's just amazing. The guys that are engaged on this, we have community volunteers, doing the testing. We, right now, I think it's actually opening up to the like an open, for the people who are more curious, they just kind of want to hammer on it a little bit. I think we're going to open it up to that, and then and that's like the last step, really. And then we're just going to go ahead and launch it.
Excellent.
So V3 is really the caliber of talent and the level of participation. I mean, this is stuff that happens behind the curtains. This is kind of a the folks don't see the huge amount of work and dedication that goes into this. People pulling all-nighters, doing this stuff. We get to enjoy the labor of the fruit of their labor. But it is humbling. We have very talented community. We have very dedicated community. And this has been something that I've just been in constant awe since I joined the project.
Right. And great news, everyone. Like every Friday, we have our Enrique update. We're also going to have a Todd Lewis update on tech, to where we thought that would be a good idea. Now, he's going to be able to deliver his updates on Mondays, so we're not going to do a special show for a Monday update, but we'll incorporate it into the Friday update. So we just want to keep you guys in the loop of where we are, and just be as transparent as possible on the progress, level set expectations, and celebrate the big wins when indeed things are released. So Friday right here is where it's at. So Mr. Mike Momola, can you come off?
I can. I just, man, I'm with Max. It cat's got my tongue, and I tip my hat to Richard and Spencer with that video, and want to echo so much of what Yoga just said. And watching that video, I came on and I wanted to say how excited I am to be an Epic holder and a member of this community, but it goes so much further. And that video just reminded me. And when I did a lot of trial work, I remember one trial in particular at the end of probably about a week's worth of litigation. At the end of a trial, you do something called a summary or a summation or a closing argument, where you kind of sum up everything that happened throughout the trial. And the judge gave me about a half hour to go outside of the courtroom, the courthouse actually, and go over things before we came back in. And I remember having what I perceived, because I prepped a lot, a very long, what I perceived to be eloquent closing argument, summation of what I was going to say. And when I went outside, there was a statue outside of the courthouse. And on the bottom of the statue, there was a quote that said, "We're here to help those who can't help themselves." And it just shook me to my core. There was this feeling of warmth in my heart. Yeah, there was this feeling of warmth in my heart, and watching that, and I literally trashed my summation that I had prepped all night, and I went back in and I used that quote with the jury and told them why I thought we were here on this planet, and we ultimately got a great outcome, and that's great. But watching that video just now brought me back to that moment. Wow. Seeing Esther and just it immediately brought me back to that. We're here to help those who can't help themselves. And so I came on initially to say how excited I was to be an Epic holder and how excited I am to be a part of this community. But now I just want to remind myself and everyone that I'm also very, very proud. And so thank you to everyone, Max, Yoga, you, Uncle B, everyone that's involved. Thank you, because I'm excited, but now I'm really proud to go into 2022. So thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, 2022, next year at this time, it's just going to be amazing to look back and see everything we accomplished over the year, because what seems like some things seem to take forever, they really don't. They really don't when you're talking about tech. And it's just going to be an amazing journey this next year. So thank you, Mike, for that. And I really, I'm a yellow notepad guy, so I'm gonna write that quote down and put it on my mirror where I have all of my others, where when I'm brushing my teeth, I like to remind myself of these type things. So thank you. So look, like I said, we're let's see if there's any.
We got a couple of questions. I can answer them.
I got questions, and I was taking notes. Thanks for that, Mike. So we're accustomed to things moving very fast in crypto. A day seems like forever, and it's easy to lose track of how privileged we are in terms of what's possible. I refresh the number of active VEET holders fairly frequently, and it seems to be about a 1% daily growth rate, usually not less, but often quite a bit more. And if you do the math on that, that means we double in 14 weeks. And because of Metcalfe's law, that means it's a double of a double. And so it gets substantial very fast. So what's next up after V3, which we're actually going to change the nomenclature to E3 to make it more consistent. So E3 unblocks the mobile wallet. David J up in Canada is back on the job after some holiday time, and he is now unblocked and pushing ahead, so that can proceed independently of other things. So that's one track. Now when a single roadblock that's holding up multiple things gets cleared, then all of the sub things and the things things that depend on those things in our wish list can then be even started. So ECR distribution is obviously a big thing. We want to get that out. It's Vite, it's the various DEXs. It's making sure that it's easy to use and bulletproof. We're not just doing a single distribution. We're doing we're creating machinery to do ongoing grabs and drops and all kinds of different things. And so we're building reusable infrastructure that we can do this over time. And this just happens to be our first go at it. ECK testnet will enable us to try new configurations as growth comes, especially with mobile wallet. 17 transactions a second is not going to cut it at some point. And so we need to stay ahead of that growth curve, and being able to test that out safely on the Canary side on ECK is important. So we're not going to commit to timelines. That's really not realistic in crypto, but we are going to do a better job of not just documenting the feature wish list, which we've started to do with the the epicenter.epic.tech /roadmap is the address for what we put out a few months ago. And then we put some more meat on that bone with the subway map. And so we're going to go ahead and document what people can expect in the fullness of time over the next 7 versions. But again, timelines we can't predict, just best efforts basis, and the more oars in the water, the faster things go. But what we can do in the scope of things we control is better communications from the developer side. So we're investing in some resources and processes to make it so that information can flow outside of its normal echo chambers in structured ways, where people don't have to go hunt around to find it, or, hey, Bob, what's the latest over here? Information dissemination is always a challenge, because it's crazy. In the main group, it's 1,865 now. I remember when we were excited to get 300. So we can always do a better job, and we will, and keep that feedback coming, everybody. It's really helpful. What about you guys? Anything to add?
Well, I mean, one of the things, what else is coming after V3 and the wallet? ECR is coming, obviously. You already mentioned ECK, so that's that's the other thing. And then somebody asked about question regarding beta testing V3. Is there somewhere we can volunteer our time? Yeah, raise your hand in the general channel, and the folks that are running the testing, I think, can always use more volunteers. So if you definitely, if you're willing to participate and want to jump in and help us.
Deb Scott, thank you. So just in case, I'm sure but t.me/epic cash. That's where you would direct them, her yoga, or him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then,
and it's always appreciated, because it is a volunteer project, and it's humbling, but the amazing volunteers that just keep putting in the time and putting in their talent, it's awesome. I mean, the amount of progress is done, the amount of work is being done is really amazing.
And in terms of where the priorities are, we were content to be under the radar and attract those who cared, but mainly just build during these heady times. First the winter, and then the summer of excitement most recently. And so it hasn't really made sense to do any kind of promotion, because without a mobile wallet, then we have a mobile wallet, but it's not our chain, it's Vite, and then there's that added level of complexity and all that stuff. So a really class-leading mobile wallet is what I've had in mind, at least from myself, as the key blocker or a reason why not on hitting the gas pedal on promotion. And so as soon as that's out, we're going to start to put together some ECIPs, some Epicenter community investment proposals to use our treasury resources that are accumulating to go out and raise the awareness. We've got 4 different points that you, Uncle, and Mike Puccinelli and I have been working on. So some people will start to hear about us through established channels that we haven't historically had any presence on. And our hope is that they'll plug into our strong community structure and become a part of that community. And as part of a way to make that happen, and of course, all this we'll use ECR to determine the details of, is things like contests and localizations. So we have a lot of great content creators of art and GIFs and memes and songs and videos and essays, and of course we've got localizations and stuff. So I'd say, we're not going to take our foot off the gas pedal in terms of development, of course, but we've had little to no effort on those types of things that I just mentioned. I mean, a little bit on the content side, a lot on the community side, but zero on the promotion. And so, you can't go less than zero, but even a little bit of awareness can go a long way, because we're growing 1% a day without anything. So when you spray some gas on the fire, we might get more than that.
Yeah. And we're working on marketing the messaging. Oh, yeah. And it's really coming along beautifully, because you know why? It's because we have so much great content to work with. It's like our story, everything that we're all about, everything that if you've been with me since 7 months ago, since that initial interview with Max, and have been part of that journey, you know what I'm talking about. It's just like, this is the most amazing project in the world. It really is. And so that makes it really, really easy to be able to succinctly communicate with others a message that they have never heard before. Our story has never been told before because it's never happened before. So yeah, 2022. Okay, sorry, I interrupted you, Max.
Well, no, it's okay. Just speaking of our story, I mean, Epic means different things to different people. If you're running a GPU farm for video rendering and can earn extra income by using your spare computing power, or something like that, we all know our great miner stories who've done very well on that side. But a big part of what got me into this in the first place is the impact side, and we haven't talked a lot about this. People tend to be rightfully cynical of things to help those who are less fortunate, because a lot of it is inauthentic. And if you're a robber baron and you go and ruin everybody, then you give one cent back to make it look like you're not a complete scoundrel, and we're not that way. But just a quick overview of what all is going on right now. Dan is working with Marsh Children's Home in Mexico. Yes. It's an orphanage with 80 kids. Harun in Turkey is working on feeding pilgrims that he's involved with. Jovita in Mexico is also involved with the Marsh Children's Home. Kane in USA is working on veterans through Epic Fund Me. We're working with a network of 40 rural primary schools in Zambia. We're working with 2 different guys in Sierra Leone. It's really interesting. A shoe dealer that runs 1 pair at a time from the central markets to his customers in the hinterlands. It's a very creative way to make a living, and he does well with it. And we figured out that Epic can just be transformative because of the challenges. So, I wouldn't count that pure impact, but giving people access to not a handout, but a hand up. It really warms my heart. We're doing things here in Florida, beach cleanup and litter remediation and things like that. More symbolic than anything else, but a lot of times we'll go.
Every little bit helps.
Yeah. Like even just around here, there's this one windy place where the trash accumulates on the fence, and it hasn't happened yet, but it will soon. Okay, guys, come out with me for half an hour and let's get these little trash picker upper things and take care of this. And here's 1 coin a piece or whatever. It's obviously not a paid job about the money, more the symbolism of building something together. In this case, a cleaner environment for me and my neighbors, of which yoga's one. So you're obviously invited too. In India, there's No Kill Animal Shelter, a network of actually 1,000 of them. I'm really excited about that one. It's early days. Another orphanage, in this case, Mexico City. Also, youth programs in Ghana. Hunger in India, that's PIME, and then also translating our stuff into Quechua, which is the indigenous language in Ecuador. One of our freemen, who was in since the very early days and never expected to be in quite a strong financial position as he is actively thinking about how to pay it forward and spread his good fortune to his local community there. So these are all things, I mean, this is just a list that happened to be here on my desk right now. And that's in the absence of any kind of organized effort. Like, we don't have anything yet to drive this. This is just what organically resulted from the high-mindedness and spiritual default setting of the type of people that our vision attracts. And I think that in terms of how people find out about us, well, that there's a lot worse ways for people to find out about what you're offering than those types of things that I just mentioned. So I'm super stoked about that.
Hey, Max, I want to just brag on my daughter. My youngest daughter is 19. She finished her first semester in college, and she also held down a job. And she came to me last night, and she said, "Dad, can I send you some money?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She says, "Well, I'd like to spend half of my paycheck on Epic," because she's seen what's happened to her Epic. And I'm like,
that's very shrewd.
So she sent me the money, and then I doubled it in Epic Cash, just because I'm so proud of her. And I wanted to just encourage her to continue that type thinking. But I also asked her, I said, now, the next time you do that, if by the next paycheck you have 3 of your friends who also downloaded a wallet, I will double that again. And look, we're not talking about, I mean, she makes, doesn't make a ton of money at her job and doesn't put a lot of hours in, but it was just the notion that she wanted to take half. And so I told her that if she gets 3 more friends every time, that basically I'll just match half. And it just makes me feel good that it's stuck with her. It's stuck. She realizes it. She sees it. And guess what? Unlike a lot of people out there, she didn't freak about the pullback. She looked at it as the opportunity. I can get more. And so that was what was so cool. So I just wanted to end on that note. Want to let everybody know, by the way, that this is going to be a triple header day. Uncle V is going to be not only on this live stream, but in a short while, 3 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to interview a guy named Bob. Who is Bob? We're going to find out together. All I know that he was highly recommended to come on my show. He is, when you say OG in crypto, he has been here from the beginning of Bitcoin, and he's going to share how his journey and how he ended up arriving at Epic Cash. So I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be from 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern time this afternoon. And then tonight, you can't celebrate New Year's Eve without Crypto Gunslinger. If you don't know who Crypto Gunslinger is, he's this force of nature that once you've been gunslingered, it's a pretty unbelievable experience. And I think he's going to bring Frank Sinatra with him tonight too, he promised. So that, if not anything else, I promise you that will be probably the liveliest live stream that I will have ever done. We're going to have a blast. I cannot wait. Some people, he's kind of like a fire hose coming at you, but I just love it. I'm very, very, very fond of Crypto Gunslinger. My daughter calls him Country Boy. So that's my updates. Gentlemen, do you have anything else? Do we? Okay, we have Jay. Thanks for the update of what the Epic community are doing on the ground around the world. It's important. if you could have a group that everyone could show what they are doing in their local community, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, we could spin up a group. Don't you think?
Epic Advocates would be probably a great already existing group where people
Epic.
are actually the ambassadors group that we have.
Oh, the ambassadors. Okay.
Because that's kind of what
Yeah.
that is really.
Good idea.
Is people who are actually making a tangible impact in their community.
Great idea. So Epic ambassadors.
Yeah.
Is that t.me/Epic ambassadors? I think it is.
Epic Cash Ambassadors.
Epic
Yes.
Cash ambassadors. Okay. Yeah. So that would be a great place to go.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, I am going to have to bolt. I am sorry. Are you guys
Partying.
and
New Year's.
Yoga? I know you're Russian, and New Year's is like the one of the biggest days.
Biggest holiday ever. That's
Yeah.
it.
So
That's the
enjoy
stuff.
it. All right, Mike. Tell Paula hello, and you guys have a great New Year's Eve, and Max the same, and we'll just see you all next year.
Well, while you guys are having fun, I'll be here working. So don't mind me. I'll take care of the hot stove.
All right, badass. Thank you.
We like it when Max works. All right.
All right.
Yeah.